welcome back to Undiscovered. We are here with lead vocalist, singer, keyboardist Paul Gregory. Tell us about yourself, Paul. It's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I'll tell you, I've been playing here in this town for over 20 years now, and it's kind of an interesting story that what happened, how I ended up in Las Vegas. So I moved to Nashville actually to play music professionally, and I wasn't there but 1 month when I put an ad out for I'm looking for a band, and this is when the internet, just basically just started, right? And they're like, oh, there's a keyboard player. He's out of Nashville. I just moved there. I didn't know any country music. I didn't know Friends in Low Places. I didn't know anything. But they called, he's from Nashville. He must know what's going on. Right. So this country band called me, and it just so happened that they were based out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Isn't that something?
Is that crazy? And so they called me. They flew me down to Las Vegas, and I played. I auditioned for them and everything, and then I was off and all over the country, wow. playing in little country bars and honky tonks and all that stuff.
So you really got your experience mostly from just performing, right? And
I got my it was the School of Hard Knocks. I didn't know any of these songs.
Right.
I had to learn all this stuff from scratch, and the band toured for about 9 months, and then when they came off the road, I just the band was based out of Vegas. I just sort of stayed in Las Vegas, and there's all these bands.
Yeah.
Back then there was.
Right.
Back then there was an afternoon at Sam's Town. There was an afternoon shift, there was an evening shift, and there was a graveyard shift. Right. 3 bands every single day.
Yeah.
Now it's like you're lucky if it's just weekends.
Right. Well, what's so funny is that you're pinpointing a good thing about Vegas, and it's that you never realize what's really here and what opportunities are for you.
Right.
Right. And which is so funny because I actually met Paul. I don't even know how long ago, and I had no idea about any of these things. And I walk in today in the studio, and I'm just like, you're the Paul that I'm meeting today. And he brings it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Because, I think when I met you, you didn't really talk much about, your history. And
no, I didn't. The other lady, she asked me about, what I'm doing now, where I'm working. So, yeah.
Yeah, we were both guests on another show,
right.
Being interviewed. So now here we are. Look at that.
That's crazy.
Comes around full circle,
That's crazy.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
That was the only time you were on that show?
Yes.
No way. When I was on it.
Yes. So look at that. My first show.
Wow. That's insane.
To this network. That show. And it's the show that brought me here. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
That's great.
Wow. Okay.
That's amazing.
So that's and there was all these bands calling me, and they're like, oh, we need a keyboard player. I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I'll stick around.
Yeah.
So I decided to stay in Las Vegas, and there's all these bands, and joined up with a whole bunch of different bands. I did everything from I played the theme park. Remember the theme park at MGM, Grand Adventures theme park? Yes, there was. You're a little younger.
Maybe.
You were probably 10 years old at the time.
The first time I was 11, so it's my first trip.
No. There used to be a theme park there.
Okay.
And I played in the band at the theme park, and that was like the last year that they had. I believe it was 1999. How old were you?
Oh, I was 6. I was 6.
She was 6.
I'm sure it's
okay. Well, anyway, I'm a little bit older than you, I guess.
But that is amazing though. You watch Vegas grow, you help Vegas grow.
Yes, and I've seen so many changes in Las Vegas. All these new casinos and casinos going away. I'm like, oh, I played there. I played almost every place.
That's amazing.
Almost. There's a lot of hotels that don't even have lounges, but the ones that do, I played most of them.
Yeah.
And been so lucky to do all these corporate parties and slot parties. Those are always fun.
Oh.
So just all these different bands, and then COVID hit, right?
Right.
And then it was basically nothing for like 2 years. And so during that time, I was like, okay, well, I have a feeling like things are not going to be coming back for a while, right? And so I says, well, what can I do to, increase the number of gigs that I'm getting, right? So I put together a whole show, just me and my little iPad. I do like 80, 100 songs by myself.
Yeah.
So I can do a solo act now. I can do duos, trios, whatever, And then another thing is I'm doing dueling pianos too.
Okay.
So I'm doing dueling
all
piano.
around artist.
Well,
not
it wasn't necessarily by choice.
Right.
It was one of these things like you either do it or you're out of work.
Right. But
it's like you got to have all these different avenues. Matter of fact, I'm actually doing a solo thing tonight.
Oh, amazing!
Right after this, I'm leaving.
Look at you. I love this. And speaking of hustling, you played with some stars yourself, correct?
Okay. Well, let me preface that. Okay. Yes, I did play with Toby Kieth for like 10 years. Okay. So let me explain the whole situation. It was a golf tournament. Okay. They had this golf tournament in right around this time, October, every single year for the last 10 years. And it's like they bring in all these college female golfers to this one golf tournament, and this guy that puts on the tournament, his best friend is Toby Kieth.
Wow.
Okay, so when Toby performs at this thing, he doesn't do any Toby Keith songs. You know why? Because he doesn't want to. Because he doesn't have to. It's just for fun. Okay, so we don't do any Toby Keith songs. We do country songs. He even you haven't lived until you hear Toby Keith do a rap song.
Oh.
I have it on video.
Now
I have it on video. Okay.
Don't tell me. I want to be like, send me the video.
Yeah, Toby Keith can rap, and he's got a really strong voice. That's amazing. It's how he gets all that breath support. It's like, wow, that's such a great singer. Such an amazing singer, talented guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we play all these old country songs for him, and it's just been like this once. Sometimes he's out on tour, sometimes he doesn't come to the golf tournament, but it's been pretty much the last 10 years that we've done it almost every year, and this is the first year that we haven't done it.
I was going to say, so are you looking forward to
this is the first year that we are not doing it, but like I said, last 10 years, give or take a year. I got lots of pictures with the guy. Lots of pictures of me performing on the keyboard with him in the front there.
That is amazing. So you got some stories to tell.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yes. I got some stories to tell, and I'm not going to tell the stories because I don't want to get in trouble.
But
I do have some stories to tell off camera.
Right. We just have to have you back on, Paul. By now, I feel like.
Yeah. This must have been destined to be.
Yes.
Because
100%.
if you hadn't been on that show, and then that was such years ago. Was at least a year ago.
At least a year. Yeah.
And that was the only time you were on that show. And then I was on that show at the exact same day.
Absolutely amazing.
That's weird.
Well, Paul, it's been great to have you. You're teaching me so much.
Yes.
I'm sure that there's going to be many more times that I'm going to want to invite you over here.
Okay.
Paul Gregory, everybody. Make sure to come see him in
Vegas.
Thank you, guys. It's amazing.
Come see me. Check me out. I'm all over town.
Honestly.